10 Great Ancient Inventions Beyond the Understanding of Modern Science. In today's era, we often marvel at the technological advancements. However, looking back over 2,000 years, it's not hard to find mechanical wonders and technological marvels that preceded their time by a considerable margin. Many of these inventions still carry mysteries yet to be unraveled. Let's explore these fascinating inventions of ancient times. Flexible glass, an ahead-of-its-time invention. From thousands of years ago, imagine a glass that you can bend, and it returns to its original shape, or one that you can drop without it shattering. Legend has it that an ancient Roman glassmaker created a type of flexible glass called vitrium flexible, presenting it to the Roman Emperor Tiberius Caesar, who made a ruthless decision. Flexible glass is considered a legendary invention to history during the reign of Emperor Tiberius Caesar. Although there is no specific evidence of this glass, two primary sources validate its existence. One source is the Natural History by the Roman philosopher Pliny the Elder, died in 79 AD, and the other is the Satyricon, often attributed to the Roman courtier Petronius, died in 63 AD. Pliny's work is encyclopedic, while Petronius's is satirical, reflecting how different genres perceive this incredible story. According to Pliny, the flexible glass was crafted by a glassmaker during the time of Emperor Tiberius Caesar, who, fearing its impact on the value of precious metals like gold, silver, and copper, shut down his workshop rather than seek favor with the Roman emperor. Similar tales were recorded by Cassius Dio and Suetonius. Pliny expressed skepticism about the authenticity of this story, believing it had circulated widely for a long time with low credibility. In 2012, over 2,000 years later, the glass manufacturing company Corning introduced Willow Glass, a flexible glass that can withstand heat and is rollable. This glass is particularly useful for the production of solar panels. If the legends about the Roman craftsman inventing flexible glass are true, this individual was ahead of their time by thousands of years. Greek fire, the mysterious chemical weapon. Greek fire is one of the renowned weapons of the Byzantine Empire's military, used in naval battles. The components and the formula for creating Greek fire were guarded so strictly that, to this day, the recipe remains undiscovered. Images of the destructive weapon appear in documents and ancient illustrated manuscripts. Most of these documents depict the Byzantine military using Greek fire against enemy fleets. Historical records note that the Byzantine Empire's military, 7th to 12th centuries, employed this mysterious weaponous substance thrown at enemies. During naval battles, this liquid was ejected from tubes or flamethrowers, U-shaped tubes operating on the principle of siphons. The Byzantine Empire guarded the secret of the formula and components of Greek fire closely. Consequently, very few people had access to the production of this highly lethal weapon. Despite centuries of effort, the information about the secret formula for creating this weapon has been lost and remains undisclosed. To this day, experts and scientists actively conduct research to uncover the components of the ancient Byzantine chemical weapon. However, success has not yet been achieved. Damascus Steel, famous ancient technology from the Middle East. Damascus steel is a traditional steel used for forging swords in the Middle East. It features distinctive patterns of prominent metal veins with water-like spots. Blades made from this steel are renowned for being robust, resistant to breaking, having excellent flexibility, and being sharpened to a high degree. However, the production of this type of steel is currently impossible, as the refining technique has been lost, despite efforts to recreate it. Damascus steel was primarily refined from wood steel, an ancient steel originating from India and Persia. Arabs brought wood steel to Damascus, where the weapon forging industry was thriving. India and Persia supplied their steel to the Middle East from the 3rd to the 17th centuries. The refining of this steel ceased around 1750. Several hypotheses have been proposed to explain the cessation, such as depleted raw material sources or limited transmission of refining knowledge. Current technologies and materials attempting to reproduce this steel have been unsuccessful, creating materials with properties that do not entirely match the remaining steel samples. Although not the main feature of this steel, its patterned surface has drawn considerable attention. The properties of this steel, similar to many other traditional steels, have been praised in numerous legends, such as its ease in splitting gun barrels and cutting falling hair strands. While no sword hundreds of years old remains sharp enough to validate these legends, scientists studying them have found that blades made from this steel exhibit a structure of nano-sized carbon fibers and tubes. Through electron microscopy, scientists observed nano-sized Fe3C fibers after dissolving a sample in acid, indicating that the nanotube structure may have originated from plant fibers. Scientists hope to conduct further analyses on the nanocarbon tube structure in ancient artifacts made from this ancient steel, to reproduce them or develop new materials. Roman concrete, with a lifespan of 1,000 years. Although the Roman Empire has long ceased to exist, their architectural structures endure the test of time, thanks to Roman concrete blocks, known for being the strongest in the world. The ancient Roman concrete has puzzled scientists for a long time. The formulation of ancient Roman concrete is an impressive feat in the history of architecture. Some Roman structures were built with grandeur, showcasing magnificent beauty, challenges that modern builders dare not attempt even with today's technology. The concrete used to construct many buildings and monuments in the city of Rome was made from a mixture of limestone, volcanic ash, and sand. The ancient Roman buildings, among the most spectacular constructions globally, have managed to stand resilient against countless chemical and physical impacts. Over the past 2,000 years, previous research revealed that Roman concrete is far more durable than modern concrete, which typically lasts only around 120 years. It has been known that volcanic ash used in Roman concrete and lime mortar help their buildings last for such an extended period. Recent research by a group of engineers and researchers has discovered the precise formula that enhances the longevity of Roman concrete compared to contemporary concrete by using the ancient formula of the Roman architect Vitruvius. Researchers created a mortar mix that solidified within 6 months. When observed under a microscope, they found densely formed mineral clusters during the Roman mixing process. Stratlingite crystal cement, formed by volcanic ash when mixed with limestone, helped prevent the development of wider cracks by reinforcing the interfaces between surfaces, which are inherently weak within the concrete block. This method not only allows the concrete to endure longer, but also has minimal environmental impact during production, as the mix only needs to be heated to 900 degrees Celsius as opposed to the 150 degrees Celsius required for modern concrete. Nimd Lenses of the Assyrians. The Nimd Lenses are 3,000-year-old crystal blocks unearthed by Austin Henry Layard at the Assyrian palace in Nimrud*. According to speculations, the Assyrians of ancient times may have used Nimrud as natural lenses capable of focusing sunlight and creating fire. The Nimd Lenses, also known as Layard lenses, were made from naturally curved crystal rock. It has a focal length of approximately 12 centimeters, equivalent to a magnifying glass with 3 magnification. Nimrud is located in northern Iraq, once the capital of the ancient Assyrian Empire. Italian scientist Giovanni Pettinato of the University of Rome believed that this celestial rock could have been used by the Assyrians to manufacture various astronomical lenses. His hypothesis gained agreement from any colleagues, partly explaining why the ancient Assyrians excelled in astronomy. Baghdad Battery. It appears that the Mesopotamian region was among the first to discover electricity long before its formal identification. In the 1930s, a mysterious artificial object was discovered in an archaeological excavation far from the capital city of Baghdad. This object is known as the Baghdad Battery, taking the form of a vase about 13 centimeters tall, with a corroded iron rod protruding from the mouth of the vase. Additionally, a cylindrical copper tube was found inside the vase, with an iron rod threaded through it. Upon examination, experts identified this as an ancient battery, capable of producing an electric current of about 1 volt and possibly used for electroplating gold. However, if that were the case, why was this method forgotten for such an extended period, with no evidence of its existence in neighboring regions? 2,000-year-old earthquake predictor. Modern seismic measuring devices are extremely sensitive. By measuring the slightest movements of laser light or magnets, these devices can detect ultrasonic sounds that ordinary human ears cannot perceive. With all the data provided, humanity has continually improved its understanding of geological events, developed early warning systems, and found ways to construct the safest structures. However, nearly 2,000 years ago, when people did not understand what earthquakes were, someone invented a device to predict earthquakes, known as a miracle at that time. Trong Han, born in 78 AD, died in 139 AD. A scholar with profound knowledge during the Eastern Han period in China. History records Trong Han's contributions as a polymath, excelling in various fields such as astronomy, mathematics, invention, geography, map-making, and poetry. However, Trong Han became more famous for inventing the world's first earthquake measuring machine. He introduced the machine to the imperial court of Lac Duong in 132 AD, just 7 years before his death in 139 AD. Historical documents described it as resembling a large bronze chisel or stylus, adorned with 8 dragon-bat-long carvings on the outside. Each dragon clutched a copper ball in its mouth. Below the apparatus were 8 copper frogs, and their mouths would receive the copper balls if they fell from above from the dragon's mouth. Ancient records often romanticized the inner workings of Trong Han's earthquake measuring machine. However, contemporary skeptics believe that inside the hollow body of the earthquake measuring machine hung a pendulum, and a lever mechanism connected to each dragon was linked to the pendulum inside. Shockwaves from an earthquake could make the pendulum vibrate and activate one of the mechanisms inside the copper device. Subsequently, the dragons would release the copper balls, signaling to the court that not only an earthquake had occurred, but also providing information about the accompanying vibrations. Each dragon and frog corresponded to a compass point, enabling the court to quickly know exactly where the disaster occurred and dispatch rescue forces. Initially, Trong Han's invention faced skepticism from the court officials. His visionary outlook and interpretations differed significantly from the contemporary officials, and unfortunately, it was not proven. Then, as time passed, a few days later, a ball from the mouth of the last dragon finally fell. Court officials became even more skeptical because there was no earthquake in the capital of Lac Duong. However, a few days later, the envoy returned to the court, reporting that a strong earthquake had occurred about a few hundred miles west of Lac Duong, precisely in the direction of one of the 8 dragons, holding the copper ball. Trong Han called his earthquake measuring device Hao Feng Dia Dongyi. While many people in Trong Han's time believed that earthquakes were a supernatural phenomenon. Tronghan himself and other scholars asserted that events caused by wind and changes in atmospheric pressure were scientific, and the seed of the hypothesis of artificial seismicity developed in the early 20th century. In the centuries after Tronghan's death, other Chinese scholars were believed to have created other earthquake measuring devices inspired by Trong's design. However, no ancient earthquake measuring device exists today. Therefore, historians in our era have attempted to imagine an accurate device based on documents spanning centuries, embarking on creating an earthquake measuring machine according to Tronghan's ideas. Some believe that Tronghan's machine is a legend. Although documents describe the appearance of Tronghan's device fairly clearly, the exact mechanism for its operation remains unclear. In the 19th and 20th centuries, attempts to restore Tronghan's earthquake measuring machine were unsuccessful. Many aspects were elusive, such as how an ancient pendulum could be sensitive enough to detect earthquakes hundreds of miles away. Furthermore, how could motion activate only one? Sunstone Legends, a legendary navigational tool of the Vikings. The Vikings of Northern Europe have long been renowned as seasoned seafarers confidently venturing into unexplored waters. What contributed to this maritime prowess? Did the Vikings possess extraordinary qualities, distinct from other ethnicities, or did they wield a secret maritime instrument? Ancient Norse mythology often refers to a magical stone, with the ability to determine the position of the sun even when obscured by dark clouds or after sunset. This topic intrigued researchers for years, until a peculiar crystalline structure was found in the wreckage of a ship from the Elizabethan era, off the coast of the Channel Islands. In March 2013, a group of scientists declared that this calcite crystal could likely serve as a precise navigational tool. In a recent study, researchers analyzed fragments of a sun compass dating back to the 11th century, discovered on an Arctic island, Greenland. Examining the object's characteristics, they hypothesized that it aided Viking navigators in determining the sun's position by using light passing through to calcite crystals during sunset. Results showed that when combined, the sun compass and sunstone could determine the sun's location even after it had dipped below the horizon. This means that Vikings could navigate their ships accurately after sunset, as twilight illumination persisted throughout the night in high-latitude regions during summer. Sunstones are believed to have assisted experienced Norse mariners in navigating routes to Iceland and even crossing the vast Atlantic to North America. During the Viking heyday, from 900 to 1200 CE, long before magnetic compasses appeared in Europe. In the 13th century, scholars speculate that, even as compasses became widespread, seafarers might have retained sunstones as a backup navigation tool. This discovery challenges the stereotypical view of Vikings as mere fierce warriors, highlighting their intellectual capabilities and advanced knowledge utilized for successful navigation over a millennium ago. 1600-year-old chalice reveals ancient Roman nanotechnology. A stunning 1600-year-old chalice exhibits a peculiar, color-changing ability. Illuminated from the front, it appears green, while illuminated from behind, it turns blood red. The secret of this ancient Roman artifact at the British Museum holds the key to an exceptionally sharp new technology capable of diagnosing human diseases and detecting hazardous substances at security checkpoints. The magnificent chalice's dual-color effect puzzled scientists for decades since its discovery in the 1950s. The mystery remained unsolved until 1990, when British researchers observed the fragments under a microscope, revealing that ancient Roman craftsmen were pioneers in nanotechnology, embedding extremely tiny gold and silver particles in the glass. Ancient nanotechnology worked as follows. When illuminated, electrons in the metal particles oscillate, changing the chalice's color based on the observer's position. Gang Logan Liu, an engineer at the University of Illinois focusing on using technology for disease diagnosis, recognized the potential applications of this effect. The Romans knew how to manufacture and apply nanoparticles in art, Liu said. We want to see if this technology has any scientific applications. Liu believes that different liquid substances poured into the chalice will alter how electrons interact, changing the color when water, oil, sugar solution, and salt solution were poured. They reproduced a range of easily distinguishable colors, such as light green for water and red for oil. This test sample proved more than 100 times more sensitive to salt concentration changes compared to similar sensors on the market. This technology may one day appear on handheld devices to detect disease-causing agents in saliva or urine, or identify terrorists attempting to carry hazardous liquids onto airplanes. Antique Ethera mechanism, the ancient computer. On May 17, 1902, during excavations of ancient artifacts on a sunken Roman ship near the island of Antique Ethera, in the Aegean Sea, archaeologist Valerio Stay discovered a corroded metal piece beneath the sea floor. According to archaeologists, this metal piece was part of an ancient astronomical device called the Antique Ethera mechanism. The device's exact origin remains uncertain, but some experts believe it was crafted by individuals from Pergamon, in the ancient Greek city of Corinth, as the ship is thought to have originated from the direction of the island of Rhodes, which was aligned with Corinth. This location was likely a significant center for ancient astronomy and mechanics. It stands as a masterpiece of ancient Greek scientific and engineering prowess. The most mysterious aspect of the Antique Ethera mechanism is its mechanism. Inside, there are 30 intricately sized gears arranged within a wooden framework, believed to predict the positions of stars, planets, as well as lunar and solar eclipses. It served as an advanced and modern technological marvel of ancient times, unmatched by any mechanical device until the 15th century. Experts believe it operated with extraordinary precision, accurately predicting the positions of planets such as Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn with only minor discrepancies after 500 years. Through 3D X-ray imaging, researchers discovered that this ancient device consists of 37 gears with dual front and back clock faces, contained within a thin wooden box measuring 31.5 x 19 by 10 centimeters. The machine is a 365-day calendar, accounting for leap years. It can determine the positions of the moon, sun, and planets as they move through the zodiac, indicating lunar phases at the current time, calculating the timing of lunar and solar eclipses according to their respective cycles. This function could have been used for religious purposes, as celestial events like eclipses were considered ominous. The mechanism also serves as a star almanac, providing times when prominent stars or constellations of the Greek zodiac would rise and set. The information in this article highlights that the ancient world had groundbreaking inventions thousands of years ahead of their time. Which ancient innovation impressed you the most? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for following along.